Uh, Today's lesson is what? Kinematics of circular motion. We are continuing it from where we left in the previous class. What did we show previously? We have taken, if you remember, a uniform circular motion. Don't you see it on the screen?
Yes, sir.
What is uniform circular motion? Motion? Uniform circular motion. What is the defining factor in that? Speed remains constant, motion, but the direction keeps changing. Can you repeat it for me?
The speed remains constant and direction keeps changing.
The direction is changed by the acceleration acting towards the center, which is called normal acceleration or what? Centripetal acceleration. Motion. Can you repeat once again for me? This direction is changing, we told every time, right? The vector length remains same, but the direction changes because of whom? A force actually, but since we're not discussing yet about force, we could say this is due to the acceleration acting towards the center, which is what? Centripetal acceleration or normal acceleration, we are saying. And for that, we proved that it is v squared by r. All this we've done yesterday. Okay. This is over. Can you recollect? Direction is towards center. It is called centripetal acceleration. It is also called normal acceleration, perpendicular to the tangent or perpendicular to the velocity. It characterizes change in direction. When I said it characterizes change in direction, you should be able to visualize that. You can't just take the words for granted. The body would have gone that way in the absence of this acceleration, but it is pulled down like that into the orbit. So that's what you mean by visualizing. Do you follow that? Hello, Vishnuvardhan.
Yes, sir.
Like if this is a circular path, the velocity at some point will be like this, right? And that's because of the centripetal force, we say, but let us now say centripetal acceleration. If this was not there, it would have gone there, but because it is there, it is falling down like this. So this is what you mean by changing the direction. Here it could have been like this. It would have gone there in a time t, but it is falling back again because of this an. Here it would have gone there like that, but it is falling like that. So this kind of deflecting the particle, from its tangential direction is what you mean by changing direction. So simply mere words of changing direction really doesn't work in physics, especially when you are trying to do some applications. Do you understand? So that value we found out to be what? How much? We found that to be v square by r, v omega r, omega square r, all that, isn't it? So hello.
Yes, sir.
Now today's is this. The same thing we'll discuss in non-uniform circular motion. There the speed changes and as well the direction changes. So at one go, we'll find out the expressions for normal acceleration and tangential accelerations. All right. As I keep talking and keep explaining, you keep writing and keep listening and keep talking. And keep talking to me. Okay. The heading is today's heading is non-uniform circular motion, this one. Okay. And I put something in quotes. Speed also changes. What do you mean by speed also changes? We have seen that direction already changed anytime in motion. If it is going in a straight line, no issue. Direction is remaining same. But anything just turns, not necessarily in a circular path. The moment you turn from the straight line path, the direction has changed. So for any curvilinear path, direction changes. And so with the case of circular motion, every time the direction goes on changing. But if the speed also changes, it is called non-uniform circular motion. All right. Now look at that. There's a speed v1 here. And the speed v2 is longer than this, children. Previously, if you remember, the velocity vector's length was all the time same. Do you follow? The one which would have gone like this is like this, is like this, is like this, is like this, is like that. This is actually a circular path. Do you follow? But here, even this length changes. That's what you mean by speed changes. I've given you that example of what? Motorcycle. If you are turning a motorcycle in a circular path, with raising the accelerator, the speed changes and the direction changes. Hello, are you listening? So how to derive the accelerations at a point, both tangential and normal? Hello, children. This looks a little what you call mathematical, but not difficult. But remember, doing this actually makes your life easy for this lesson, dynamics of after this lesson, and later dynamics of circular motion, and then rotational mechanics. All right. So just keep following it very carefully. The diagrams are given very, very clearly there. Look, that v1 vector, v2 vector, I brought down like this. Do you follow? Hello.
Yes,
v1. Just look at this. This is v1. This is v1 here. And the angle between v1 and v2 is how much, children? I told you already, delta theta. If the particle moved from here to here, describing an angle delta theta, yesterday itself, or in the previous class itself, I told you the angle between the two velocities is also delta theta. Hello. So that I converted that into vector diagram outside the circle. This initial velocity. So it turned through delta theta, this v2. Don't worry that v2 is I put in horizontal direction, doesn't matter. Do you follow? I can put it like this. Or doesn't matter if I this moving vectors like this doesn't matter, because this is anyway, this kind of a case would be there was somewhere v1, v2 like that, v1, v2 like that. So you need not to bother that I'm just this v2 which was here, I'm putting like this. Okay. Basically, we want to convert that into vector diagram and find out delta v's and all that. Now look at this. The green ones are the velocities, v1, v2. Hello, are you listening? Now, which is delta v? For average acceleration, you know, A average is equal to change in velocity by time. Actually, my final aim is to get instantaneous accelerations. The acceleration at a given point. Even previously, acceleration at a point, A normal, A tangential like this, and A like this we wrote, right? So even now, I would like to get the same thing, children. But before finding out the acceleration at a point, here we need to find out the acceleration between 2 points, between an instant at t1 and an instant at t2 there. Okay, so this is v, this is final velocity, this is initial velocity. So initial plus final equals, sorry, initial plus change in velocity is final velocity, isn't it so? This plus this is this, isn't it so? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Just 1 second. I'll do this. The same password work, no? Like nothing changed today, isn't it? Hello.
Yes, sir.
So many people did not come and student is asking password. Okay. Do you understand that V2 minus V1 is delta V is this? Hello. Which I wrote as V1 plus delta V as V2. Hello. Tell me.
Yes, sir.
V2 minus V1. Like this is V2, this is V1 means reverse it. Tail to tip. It goes from tip to tail like this. Do you follow? This is
Yes,
V2,
sir.
this is V2, this is V1. So if I want V2 minus V1, what should I do? I should reverse V1, right? If I reverse, this is minus V1. So from here to here, this is delta V. Tip, tail to tip. So tip to tail this way, tail to tip this way. This is delta V. Hope you followed. Huh? So this is delta V. Or in another way put, initial velocity plus change in velocity is the final velocity. Vectorially, right? Now, this change in velocity, I resolve into 2 parts. Along the tangent, that is along the direction of the initial velocity, and perpendicular to the initial velocity. This is called delta V tangential, this is called delta V normal. And here you should understand what it means to say, changing the direction and magnitude together is, this is changing the magnitude. Because length of the vector is increasing, right? This is V1, this is V2. So length of the vector change. That's what it means by changing the speed. And this 90 degrees will tell you the one which should have gone that way has turned this way. So it is a direction change. That's why this velocity, which is in general direction like this, can be thought of as having a component in the tangential direction, another component in the perpendicular direction. This component tangential characterizing the change in speed, this component perpendicular characterizing the change in direction. Hello. So do you understand? This is what you mean by analytical approach. You need to use mathematics to represent mathematics to understand a physical situation. Can I continue, children? Because I want the feedback I told you many times.
Yes, sir.
1 minute, sir.
But get the meaning of it clearly. Remember, every time your knowledge base, your understanding capacity. What do you mean by knowledge base? Like people have already given us so much scientists. So you should keep on adding to your what you call the present, the knowledge is already there present. That's knowledge base. When I say knowledge base, I just don't mean to say information. Information plus the meaning. So that should keep increasing every time. So this purpose of this class will be really served later if you really try to understand. If V1, V2 change in length, what does it mean? Previously, I was telling you what? Like vector length V1 is smaller, vector length V2 is larger, so the magnitude is changing, I told. And also since the body turned, we said direction changes. But now I'm putting it in more mathematical form. What it means to say that direction changed and what you call magnitude changed by taking this. What is this? This is delta V, change in velocity. This is delta V can be thought of as having a component in the initial velocity direction, a component perpendicular to it. This will change, this will tell you how much length the vector is changing. This will tell you how much direction change is happening. Hello? Huh? Now, mod of delta V tangential is, look at this. What is this final velocity in this direction? I've shown it here. Look, this is V2, this is delta theta. So this will be V2 cos delta theta. Minus this one is this one, right? Hello? Are you there?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
This is
sir.
final velocity, children. Its component in this direction is V2 cos delta theta. This minus this is this. What do you say? So that's why it is written delta VT, delta V tangential bar equals V2 cos delta theta minus V1. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now, hello. What happened? Now, we'll take the component of this V2 perpendicular to the initial velocity, which is V2 sine delta theta minus 0. Why? There was no velocity of initial velocity in this direction initially. Therefore, V2 sine delta theta minus 0. So I've got magnitude of the change in speed, magnitude of the change in speed which characterizes the direction, which is V2 sine delta theta. So average acceleration in the tangential direction is this change by this time. Do you agree? Hello? Hope you're all writing.
Yes, sir.
So this change in velocity by delta t will be what? Average acceleration's tangential component. And average acceleration's normal component is this change in velocity by time. I'll wait if you would like to ask something. But tell me whether you followed it. Today we started here. Many people say other class was continuing. I'm not sure whether the class is continuing only. Let me see. You can take whatever time you want. This is definitely not for all, but for many, it looks very what you call abstract. But the whole physics or any science is abstraction of the reality. Remember it. It's our own modeling, and physics is the mathematical modeling of nature. Once that leap in your faith, that leap in your culture, and that leap in your doing happens, after that it is just simple. So non-uniform acceleration, non-uniform circular motion, in that the speed also changes. That's what we told, isn't it so? And because of that, this green vectors we showed here, shorter one, longer one. If this angle is delta theta, I've told you this is delta theta. So our job is to find out the instantaneous acceleration, actually speaking. Before that, I'm finding out the average acceleration, because in the limiting condition only, the average acceleration becomes tangential acceleration. Hello?
Yes, sir.
So until here, a normal average. For average, you can put this kind of brackets. Any average value in mathematics, many times people write like this. Okay, that's one way. So I've got a tangential average, a normal average. Here, if you have any doubt, please tell me. Children. versus Sri Ram. I don't know who are all there. Many are not there today. Once again, I don't know why. Vishnuvardhan, Enoch.
Yes, sir.
The mass part. Can I continue then? I remind you people about what in the very beginning we were doing. If y is a function of x, delta y by delta x is called average rate of change of y and x. And the limiting value of this is called dy by dx. That is
Yes,
dy
sir.
by dx equals limit of delta y by delta x as delta x tends to 0. The whole kinematics is based on this idea. So now, after getting the what? Average value of the A tangential and A normal. What is A tangential, people? It is there in front of your eyes. What is A tangential? Hello, children. Are you listening to me?
Yes, sir. The rate of change in speed.
Rate of change of speed. Why the speed changes there? Do you know? The vector length is changing. Speed is for that length, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
And it is, instead of going that way, turning. Right?
Yes, sir.
That's why we will have A tangential and A normal. Their values are this one. Now, instantaneous AT will be limiting value of this one. Okay, that's the limit delta t tends 0, V2 cos delta theta minus V1 by delta t. And you know, as delta t tends to 0, delta theta also tends to 0. If the thing is very, very small, as a body goes in a circular path, if time interval is very small, even this delta theta also will be very small. Okay. Hello, children.
Yes, sir.
So this one is what we wrote. As delta t is tending to 0, delta theta also tends to 0. But when delta theta tends to 0, children, cos delta theta becomes 1. Cos 0 is 1, right?
Yes.
So,
Yes, sir.
very, very small values of cos is up almost 1. If you look into trigonometry table also, you can see that. Suhita, are you listening?
Yes.
So this cos delta theta, we're putting it as 1. Do you follow? So what do I get? A tangential equals limit of delta t tends to 0, V mod V2 minus mod V1 by delta t. Why? This has become 1. So mod V2 minus mod V1 by delta t is A tangential. If I remove this delta t tends to 0, it becomes d mod V by dt. Isn't it so? Hello? I've done this in the very beginning. The very first lesson, I mean, not very first lesson, but after discussing something about functions and all that, I go for this y. If y is f of x, what is delta y by delta x? What is dy by dx? So now this becomes A tangential is d mod V by dt. It is only the rate of change of speed, not velocity. AT, therefore, AT characterizes change in speed. Hello, tell me this part. In the very beginning, I started with an example, motorcycle example, that you only change you only deflect the what you call the handle you will only go in the circular path without any change in the speed. That means the speedometer is going to be, say, for example, at 40 km/h every time. But if you also keep raising the accelerator, even the speedometer's reading changes. So out of that, speed change by time, that is 40 km/h minus 30 km/h by whatever time, is what you call a tangential at that moment, at that instant. But look at this, a normal, limit delta t tends to 0, v2 sine delta theta by delta t. It is already there. We found that in the normal direction, change in velocity is v2 sine delta theta minus 0 by delta t. So that we substituted here. And once again here, as delta t is going to 0, sine delta theta goes to delta theta. You know, sine 0 is 1, children. Sine 0 is 1. Sine 0.001 is approximately 0.001. Cos theta will be 1, but sine theta will be theta in the limiting condition. This will come again for mathematics students in the calculus, but for others, that's enough for us. For biology students, you should say that when theta is very small, cos theta is 1. When theta is very small, sine theta is theta. Okay. Not only that, as delta t tends to 0, v2 becomes v1 because this point comes closer to the initial point. So as delta t is becoming 0, v2 becomes v1, and where is it? I'm sorry. Yeah. v2 tends to v1 tends to v. So v1 equals v, v2 is v plus delta v. This is 0, so it's happening like that. So I can write a normal equals limit delta t to 0, v delta theta by delta t. V, v2 became v1 became v. This one. Hello. So, but limit delta t is 0, delta theta by delta t is d theta by dt, instantaneous. So we got v d theta by dt, v omega, v square by r, all this which we have done previously. Tell me now. So both the accelerations we derived at one go. I want you to talk to me about this before I continue. Look, in the first class, I was going slightly in the linear evolutionary way. I gave an example, physical example. Then I took only uniform circular motion. There in that I showed you the vector way of doing it. There I showed you later how Newton showed that A normal is V square by R. So I was going to specific cases. Now I made it very general. So that is what you mean by specific to general, a particular way of thinking and doing things. Okay. So we proved it again. What is that proof we did? When a particle goes in a non-uniform circular motion, the vector length also keeps changing. The vector length change is characterized by the A tangential, and the direction change is characterized by A normal, and the total acceleration at a given instant is the vector sum of these A tangential and A normal. That's the whole story. Okay. So hope you're writing it, but more than that, I would expect and enjoy your discussing it. Tell me, children. Okay, if somebody says, sir, all this is looking very mathematical, you can reserve it for a later time to go through the mathematics in details. But after doing this, the very idea of looking at the acceleration in terms of the change of speed and change of direction should be settling in the mind. It's not so difficult. Look, as I told you, acceleration is velocity change by time. Velocity has both the magnitude and direction. So for our own convenience, we are splitting that instantaneous acceleration into two parts. The one which changes the speed, the one which changes the direction. So that should settle in the mind ultimately. But if it did not settle, just you are open to ask questions. Even the mathematical things also, if you are not comfortable, you can ask anywhere you want it. Hello.
In the tangential acceleration,
Yeah.
like why did V2 minus mod V2 minus V1 become dV bar limit of?
You were there from the very beginning, right?
Yes, sir.
This is V2 minus V1 mod V2. Why did we put? Because we don't want this to be V2 bar minus V1 bar like this. Do you follow? That is a velocity change. Here only the speed change. Simply V2 minus V1. If you don't want to write that mod thing, leave it. So V2 minus V1 by delta T is nothing but delta V by delta T. This is all delta V by delta T, nothing, Vishnu. In the limiting condition, delta V by delta T becomes dV by dt. That's all.
Yes, sir.
Right. Look.
Yes, sir. Got it. Delta V
by delta T as delta T tends to 0 is dV by dt.
dV by dt.
Only thing is I put all these marks for you not to get into a wrong impression that this is velocity change. It's not velocity change. It is speed change.
Speed change.
No, velocity changes here, but velocity changes in magnitude and in direction. So we conveniently separated the two things. That is the main idea in this, the big idea in this circular motion. Tell me. Suhita, Nihita.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
The maths is okay. If you're mass oriented person, you'll automatically grab it, catch it. But even otherwise, don't worry. Whether you want to go from what you call the physics example, like the motorcycle going around in a circular path, turning happens, change in speed happens, and one of them I call this, the other of them I call like this. You remember and use the formula, I have no problem. But once for all, that idea becomes your own if you go through the whole derivation also. That's how, that's what I mean by knowledge. I am not using the word in terms of the information. I am using the knowledge is that understanding you developed by knowing the old things. Okay. It's not the training part, the education part I'm referring to. So we are ready for more things, children. Whoever is present, can you just summarize what we did until now in circular motion, kinematics of circular motion? Apart from the mathematics there, what would you make a part of your what do you call memory or thinking or your knowledge base? Come on. Enoch, tell me. You don't want to talk, so I'll continue. What is there? Why am I talking about the same thing again and again, you know? For all that, total half of our mechanics will be about this rotational thing only. Hello?
Yes.
Am I there in the meeting?
Yes, sir.
Is my iPad being mirrored?
Yes, sir.
I don't see. Just a minute. I'll stop the share and come back. Is it there? Can you see, or I should once again try?
It's not coming now, sir.
Okay, then just a minute. Actually, I started using the iPad mirroring there because on iPad I can write more properly. Previously, I was writing on the touch laptop. Now I've got the benefit of both laptop and iPad with this. Right. Now tell me. Can I continue, children? No one is talking.
Yes, sir.
Amarnath. And this is true even for a general curvilinear path. Not only for circular motion, even for a zigzag path like that. But remember, here in this kind of case, at every place you can talk of the instantaneous radius of curvature. Like with this arc length, small arc length, you complete one circle here. This radius will be radius of curvature there. Similarly, this will be here. Remember, all the time it will be on the concave side, not on this convex side. If the body is turning like this, the acceleration will be this way, children, not that way. Do you follow? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
If anything is going like that, never say acceleration is this way.
Towards center.
It is on the concave side, not on the convex side, acceleration.
Yes.
Anytime, just as a rule. Now, this acceleration will be neither this way nor that way. It will be somewhere in the middle. That's because its speed changes, its direction changes. So the A, which is in a general direction, can be thought of as having a normal component and a tangential component, children, even for any other curved path. So A normal is V squared by R, or small ri, right? But this R is the radius of curvature, which keeps on changing at every different point. Here, something else like that. Okay. All right, children. In vector form. This also is very important. Here, as a particle moves, the coordinate system moves in this case. We're not watching it from outside like this. This is origin, this is A tangential, this is A normal, this is A total. So people defined unit vectors in this direction, tangential and radial direction. This is ER away from the center. This is the unit vector along the radial direction. Like IJK, you defined I along x-axis, J along y-axis, K along z-axis. Here in this coordinate system, this is A tangential, this is A normal. In this, away from the center, there is a unit vector called ER cap. Along the tangent, there is E tangential cap, or what, doesn't matter. So therefore, A total here has two components. We write it as d mod V by dt tangential, this way, rate of change of speed into this unit vector, minus I, right, because we defined unit vector this way. What do you say? So acceleration is towards that, so a minus sign. So this is how you write it in unit vector form, not from the Cartesian coordinate system, but a coordinate system which is going on moving along with the particle. If the particle is here, A tangential, A normal, A is like this. Particle is here, A tangential, A normal, A is like this. Okay, so these unit vectors move along with this coordinate system. We are going to move like this, along with the particle. Okay, please write down and ask questions. Hello, children.
Yes, sir.
Phyllis, tell me,
Yes, sir.
when a particle goes in a circular path, or not even a circular path, even in a curvilinear path. For example, for you people to feel what do you say, happy, I'll give you a question here, which is a question in the exams, because that's what people do nowadays. They start saying this question came in this exam, all that. Okay, let me go along with the crowd for a while. I'll put a simple question. There's a simple pendulum motion I have, like this. Okay, so I'll draw. This is pendulum, which is going on oscillating like this. This is a curved path, right? It's a part of a circular path, actually speaking. Okay, so at some point here in the middle, the acceleration of the particle we would like to show. It will be this way, or this way, or this way, do you follow? Or for example, rub this off this way. Tell me A, B, C, D, and they need not be the answer at all here. Let's come on. A simple pendulum is going like that. Acceleration at an instant of a particle is A, B, C, D. Tell me. So you don't want to take a risk?
Sir, is it B?
Vishnu says it is B. How about others? How about others?
So maybe it will be A, sir.
A. Why, Phyllis?
Sir, like it is moving from left to right or right to left?
Does
Like
it
it's
matter?
coming-
Does it matter?
Sir?
Does it matter? You tell me. If it matters, I'll tell you. Okay, let me say it's moving like that. Yeah, so okay, all right. Not good, not bad. People are now speaking. All right. So Vishnu says B and Phyllis says A. And anybody else? Not a bad idea either. Like why they are saying more probably they know, and we'll talk about it. We'll see. Now, anybody else? You are sure that it's not C and D? Huh?
Sir,
Why?
I think it might be C.
Huh?
I think it might be C, sir.
More. So one more answer. Okay. So people are sure that D is not right. Huh?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Why D is not right?
Like it should be towards the
because-
center.
It is only along the tangent, right? And the direction change cannot be explained without having a component towards that, isn't it? Hello.
Yes, sir.
So that's the reason this D is ruled out. Look, only when a particle moves in a straight line, it can be tangential to the straight line this way or that way. Only tangential acceleration for a curved path doesn't exist because it doesn't explain how the direction is changing. Hello. Are my words going into your brain?
Yes, sir.
So you definitely, everybody agrees that D is ruled out. C also I'll rule out, because when a pendulum is moving like that, is the speed constant, Vasist? If speed is constant only, Vasist, the acceleration is towards center. Like that, in a uniform circular motion. So this C case is not correct, because the acceleration is complete towards the center of the circle, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Huh?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Let us take it as a part of a circular motion. Is it not? If it continues like that, it will be circular motion, right?
Yes, sir.
Do you follow my point?
Yes, sir.
Like, I'll put the circle here. So a pendulum is here. So what we're trying to tell is that it is going this way and this way. So to be more precise, only thing is the velocity became 0 once you go there. It came back, velocity became 0 once again. So somewhere in the middle, I was asking the direction of acceleration of the particle. Huh? So will C be right, Vasist?
No, sir.
No. That will happen only if the speed is constant, and that will be towards center, exactly. Hello.
Yes.
If speed is not changing. All right.
Yes.
Correct. Now, both Phyllis and who was that? The other fellow, Vishnua?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Both of them may be right. If I mention whether it is coming, which way? This way or going?
Or this, yes, sir.
That way.
Other way.
If it is coming this way, for example, the speed is increasing. Huh? Hello.
Yes, sir.
If the speed is increasing, the direction change, acceleration this way, the speed change, direct acceleration is this way, tangential. So it is in the middle, like that. Hello.
Yes, sir.
So, but Phyllis is not going to be right. Now, if it is going that way, speed is decreasing. So A tangential is this way. Previously, A tangential was that way. Which way? Hello, it is going this way. A tangential is this way. A normal is this way, we told. Speed is increasing.
Yes, sir. Got it.
Now, if it goes like that, speed should be decreasing. So where should the direction of
Yes,
AT? This way only, right?
Yes, sir. Opposite.
Hello,
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Phyllis, do you follow?
Yes, sir.
Actually, you need to understand here the velocity was increasing. That's why it is in the direction of changing. It is decreasing, so it should be opposite to the velocity. So once again, the A tangential is this way only, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So the acceleration is only this way, that way. So it is this way. So the answer is basically what?
B, sir.
B only. So this is why that all the discussion was happening, children. Whereas people have become now used to only discussing questions. Questions we discuss, application naturally, but you should do the application practice. And that this could be a question anywhere in any exam all over the world at 11th and 12th level. Huh? Hello.
Yes.
All right. So that's why that whole lesson we are talking. So everywhere you've got questions. Remember it. All right. I'll go back. Have one or two questions. Right. But let me say something. I'll give a question to you people here. I won't discuss that in advance, but I'll just give a question directly and see how you respond to it. Because once again, that's for what you say, validating the discussion we have done. Huh? A particle, please keep writing. A particle is moving in a circular path of radius at 12 meters. 12 meters. It starts from rest at a point. Starts from rest at a point and moves with a constant acceleration of, not with a constant tangential acceleration, children, with a constant tangential acceleration of, say, 3 meters per second square. Okay. Find the acceleration of the particle particle 4 seconds after the beginning of the motion. After the beginning of the motion. Suppose you did not know how to start, whatever, you got a doubt in the wording, just tell me immediately. Children,
Yes, sir.
look, is moving in a circular path. Just a minute. Of radius how much? 12 meters. Now say it starts somewhere here, but u was 0, speed was 0. It was going, it has got a constant tangential acceleration. That means the speed was changing at the rate of what? 3 meters per second. So A tangential equals how much? 3 meters per second square. Now I wanted the acceleration of the particle. Acceleration of the particle is not tangential acceleration, it is total. Huh? Hello?
Yes.
And did I give you a formula like this? A equals A tangential square plus A normal square. Huh? A tangential is anyway remaining same, but A normal is what? V square by R. So after some time, for example, here, this A tangential is as usual. How much is that? 3. But A normal, I won't know. I don't know. If I know the speed here, since R is there, I can get A normal. But how do I get my speed here? I can use my kinematical equations. Speed V equals initial speed plus A tangential into time, not total A. The total A is like this. So if I want to get speed of the particle, I should use this formula by putting A tangential here, not total A. So V after a time 4 seconds is 0 plus 3 into 4. How much is this? 12 meters per second. So my A normal will be 12 into 12 by 12. V square by R, 112 cancels. A normal is 12, A tangent is 3. So my answer will be what? A equals 3 square plus 12 square under root. That is 144 plus 9 under root. That is how much? Root of 1, 5, 3. And also you can get the direction of it. So tan alpha equals A normal by A tangential. A normal was how much? 12. A tangential is how much? 3. So tan alpha equals 3. Sorry, 4. So alpha is some 72 degrees, whatever you get. So this is the meaning of our whole idea of discussing A tangential and A normal, children. Need to tell me now. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Children. So to that whole derivation, if you followed now, well and good, really great. But if you think that all maths is looking very troublesome, no issue. But as an idea, at a given point, A will be neither towards center nor along the tangent, but it's somewhere in the middle. In general means like when both velocity is changing in terms of magnitude and direction. So if somebody says what is the direction of acceleration in a circular path, you will never say towards center. You will ask whether it is uniform circular motion or non-uniform circular motion. So if it is a non-uniform circular motion, A is not at all towards center, it is somewhere in the middle. But in that case, we can think that A to have two components, A normal and A tangential. And for all the paths, path length, speeds, we use AT. Almost we use in along the straight line, all the equations can be used here for the path, for the speeds, not for velocity. Of course, the speed is magnitude of velocity, remember it. So that clarity should come. Though it's going in a circular path, the equation is just same, V equals U plus AT, we applied. I'll show tomorrow in the derivation. More talk I'll do about that, but this is what is there for today. If you say you followed, I'll close the session.
Yes, sir.
So even before I close, people dropped off. Some of them did not even come. Back-to-back classes, probably they're not used to, I don't know. But anyway, thank you. I'll be closing it now.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, tell me, Emma.
Sir, will this recording be posted in the YouTube, sir?
This I record, I'll post it. Huh?
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Sure.
Sir.
Today, but most likely by night or tomorrow morning, I'll post it. Huh?
Okay, sir. Thank you.
You Phyllis, you watch it again and
Yes,
watch
sir.
it again and then tell me the doubts.
Yes, sir.
I'm telling you, this is what is required.
Yes,
so what
sir.
is required for the job is not always very easy. So doing it once, twice, thrice, depending on one's own grasping capacity is what shows your strength of character, right? I told you already.
Yes.
Somebody may follow it with one time, somebody might follow it twice, but if all are having the same goal, if somebody does it by doing it once, somebody else will do it by doing it 10 times. And somebody who is doing it 10 times and getting it, I'll appreciate them more than the other one who got it with first attempt, because the first attempt you got means probably you got a better IQ levels. Or somebody is getting it a little late, maybe it's a little lesser IQ, but the strength of that attitude that shows up in what you call somehow doing it again. So That's a good thing. I'll post it and make notes if you want once again, or whatever notes you made, if they were not clear, you write them again and tell me. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Thank you so
Thank you,
much.
sir.
I'll close it now.
Thank you, sir.
Bye.